Here now to weigh in, retired U.S. Army Major General Randy Manner. General, always great to speak with you. So let's talk about Pakistan. The prime minister there saying his country is ready to help facilitate an end to this war. President Trump continues to insist that Iran does want to make a deal. I want to listen to a little bit of what he has said.
They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal, too. We're going to get together today by probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
All right, so the president commenting just yesterday there, but Iran continues to deny that any talks at all are happening, have happened. What is your reaction to this? Where do you think these negotiations stand?
It's very difficult to truly understand all the things that are happening behind the scenes. It's interesting that one side is saying, yes, we're talking, and another says we're not. I think in any situation, it's always what is happening that is not in the news that matters in this particular case. I am very hopeful that the president is, quite frankly, trying to be courageous to say we can take care of this and stop this to the benefit of, quite frankly, everyone, while still, of course, safeguarding the United States from any kind of nuclear challenge that they may have, which, of course, has been apparently eliminated by virtue of what the president has said.
And so, as we just heard from Robert Sherman there, it doesn't appear that the war itself is ramping down. There are reports now of at least 4 impact sites in Tel Aviv from Iranian missiles. Israel launched heavy strikes overnight in Lebanon. Israel has already said that it expects several more weeks of fighting. So from your perspective, General, is there any indication that this is going to be winding down anytime soon?
I have some mixed perceptions about that because, indeed, the Pentagon is giving out conflicting information from what the president has said. I think the idea of perhaps alerting the 82nd Airborne Division could be, quite frankly, a very costly mistake. Long time ago, as a company commander in the 82nd, I was on the green ramp there at Fort Bragg, ready to go to protect U.S. interests when the Shah fell. And I, quite frankly, will tell you we were glad we did not go, because a airborne unit is extremely light, does not have very many arms, quite frankly. And again, in contrast to what happened in Iraq, where we sent over 100,000 soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors, in this particular case, a small force will not make a difference, and in fact will make them a huge target and will result in escalation. So I hope that indeed cooler heads will prevail, and there will be a way to de-escalate this situation.
And so we know shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is still virtually non-existent. How do you think that plays into what happens next? And do you think there's really a clear path to getting it reopened safely?
I see no indications where this has been on the negotiating table yet, because Iran is denying any kind of participation. It's important for all the viewers to understand that Iran absolutely has a total vote on whether or not that strait stays open or closed. Some people think, well, you know, we can take out all the people or occupy the land around the strait. That will not work. That strait, Iran can hit ships from anywhere inside the country of Iran, anywhere. We have to understand that the missiles and the drones that are capable are far more sophisticated than any direct fire weapon that could be used in that area. So we must have a de-escalation, and then together with Iran to be able to reopen the straits. The president earlier had asked for other ships from other countries. That's not really feasible, not only because those ships can't get there quickly enough, but more importantly is they cannot protect themselves against drones in the same way the United States has the capability. So I think it's important to understand it will take weeks to reopen this, even if we assume some kind of a de-escalation and a ceasefire by all sides.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.